Hello and welcome to Season A, the platform where we speak truth to power. We're gonna just cover this issue about the plane crash that happened yesterday in Lagos, Oba Akran Avenue, I think it is. Let's see what channels news said about it. Let's have a listen.
In the Oba Akran area of Lagos State. It was quite shocking for a lot of people. They were thinking, is this an old story? Is this new? What is going on here? Well, yes, it indeed happened. The Lagos State governor has visited. In fact, the NSIB, we understand, has commenced investigation into that accident. That's the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau. So you see scenes from that accident just right after it happened. I mean, seeing the video of when the aircraft hit the road, it was just, intriguing to see how people scampered for safety. You'd understand that safety is always key, but as usual, lots of questions are being
Luckily,
raised.
nobody died from this
series of reports about the aviation sector.
We don't know about the driver.
Issues of regulation, safety, aviation fuel, and all of that have been major talking points. And I mean, this is a major sector when it comes to any.
Just pause that for a second. Look at that. That's the mangled remains of the plane. The mangled remains of the plane. I mean, miraculously, it seems as though maybe the only driver of the plane was probably the one that died, but everybody else survived, I think. But we don't know. Let's carry on. Let's watch on.
Economy, really. Yes, there have been challenges from COVID-19 around the world, but particularly for the Nigerian aviation sector, it looks like some of these challenges have lingered. I mean, we can't talk about funding enough. The issues about, need for funds, better infrastructure. I mean, we're just talking about the lights, the runway lights that were stolen just weeks ago. So it looks like the aviation sector has a lot going for it right now, and you know why this
going
is
for
important.
it.
This
it's
is
not
meant to
nothing.
be
It's not
a
going for
highly
it.
regulated industry, because you know how important these birds are. It's not just when they're in the air; it is what happens before they, go into the air that actually matters. Issues of regulation, safety, and all of that, and lots of questions will be asked, of course, about this particular incident. What exactly happened? From what we gather, this particular flight, Jabiru J430, with nationality and registration marks 5NCCQ, was on a test flight within Lagos, and there were 2 passengers on board. Thankfully, they were rescued by first responders, who incidentally were civilians. And I remember the governor of Lagos State actually mentioning
there you go. They survived.
2 of them who responded first, tried to get water or something to douse the fire. But questions about safety. What exactly went wrong? Because you can imagine the kind of signal this would send to a lot of people right in the afternoon, just about 3 p.m. or thereabouts. So what was it? 3 p.m.
Here we go. There you go. See that? That's the plane coming in there.
I'm correct.
See that? And
yes, that's your video.
There you go.
Yes, again.
Crazy. Absolutely.
The video
on your screen.
I mean, it just sends chills down your spine watching that, thinking what could have happened. I know a lot of people have said maybe the pilot was even very careful, trying to avoid vehicles or trying to steer, the aircraft right. But we need to answer questions about safety, because there's been too many talks about the.
That's because of bad governance. With bad governance, there will be no proper adherence to regulation, no compliance with the rule of law. Everybody will be cutting corners. This is why we're saying you as citizens, you have the right as citizens to participate in your governance, and at every opportunity you can be rest assured that we will continue to remind you of the powers that you possess, which is on the screen there. If you see what I'm showing you, sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. And of course, how to use those powers. The participation by the people in the government shall be in accordance with the provisions of this constitution, section 14(2)(c). We want you all to know this off head. Begin to use it in your community, to begin to hold your governance to account. Don't just be a bystander. Don't just go to church and pray and go to pray to God this and that. No, God is going to come and help you. You need to help yourself on ground, on the soil yourself. So I urge us all, let us begin. Let us proceed. Please, I'll leave that on the screen there, but we'll continue with the program.
Aviation sector and possible things that may go wrong. We don't have a Minister of Aviation yet. We're not even sure if there'll be a Ministry of Aviation, if there'll be a merging, and it will still remain the same. Still questions from the previous Minister of Aviation, or for him to answer about Nigeria Air. I mean, we can't talk enough about the aviation industry. Maybe this is a wake-up call for us to pay attention to those things, Bukola.
Yes, indeed. You know, you just reminded us yet again about the investigation conducted by the House Committee on Aviation in the Ninth Assembly, I believe, Coyote, and, you know, the Senate Committee as well, judging the process, you know, of Nigeria Air under the former minister as highly questionable. So it's true that, you know, the industry is really regulated, and we're waiting the outcome of that. And only recently as well, I believe regulatory authorities had cause to suspend operations of Max Air due to the discovery of, you know, what do they call it now, adulterated fuel, watering Jet A1 fuel, and the concerns about the risk to safety. That aircraft crash yesterday indeed sent shockwaves down my spine when I heard about it. You know, it was reminiscent of that aircraft crash. I can't recall the name now. Sometime in 2013 or 2012, that crashed into a residential area. So when I heard that this was somewhere close to a residential area, my worries, you know, increased. But thankfully, it was not, you know, as grievous as we, you know, thought it could have been. And kudos to those citizens of the residential area that responded and were gallant enough to help save lives. And we understand that the occupants of the aircraft have been, you know, rushed to the hospital and are under observation. But it is also significant to note that most aircraft crashes have been adjudged to be as a result of human error rather than mechanical error. So it's too early in the life of a new administration to be recording about the second aircraft crash. Recall the one in Benue, which thankfully as well, the lives of the two pilots on board were saved. So we hope that this will be nipped in the bud. Regulatory authorities should look into the quality of experience of those, you know, who are flying these aircraft, and of course the diligence of those who are supposed to be flying these aircraft, you know, to check for every form of mechanical error before those birds, you know, as Kadi described them, are made to fly in the air. Malkwe.
Well, nothing left to add. I can only say that, you know, it's very rare that we usually have, you know, stories of crashes with many bright spots. This story certainly has many bright spots. The fact that that aircraft didn't hit anyone on the ground, thankfully. I mean, we saw almost everybody there scampering for safety. And thankfully, nobody was hit, no car was affected. I certainly saw God's hand in it. Look at that. I mean, and there were cars on the road, a few cars on the road. So you cannot say, oh, and look, you even see popular Okada riders. They're also there as well, individuals walking as well. Thankfully, none of these people were affected. That's certainly, you know, certainly something to celebrate. Then you also hear that the people who were in the aircraft as well were rescued by Nigerians. I'm also very grateful that the first responders gave due credit to the community. They acknowledged the efforts that the community put in to help those people out of the aircraft even before they got there.
Yeah, we must commend that. That's very, very good news to hear, and it's often good to hear the complete news to get at least you know, a more fuller report before one says things. And so this is good that people help, and it shows the humanity that we possess even within our community, even with bad governance. It shows that we, the people, we are able to stand together despite all of the failure of governance. So I want to, you know, commend those who rescued those two in those planes, in the plane.
Explained why they had received a distress call and they had been on their merry way to the airport before, you know, before they heard that, oh, the crash actually happened in Oba Akran. But before they got there, the citizens and the community already did the job. I mean, so many bright things, and eventually they were able to get the victims of that particular crash to a hospital, a military hospital, we understand. So prayerfully, that will be the third thing I'm waiting for now, that those people actually survived, you know, with very little impact to their body, bones, and mind. So I'm hoping that that will be the miracle that we'll eventually record. So 3 miracles in one day. I really cannot complain. Of course, in addition to all of the other safety, issues that you have raised, we will look forward to how, the AIB handles that and what recommendations that they will make. But this is what we currently have, and we hope that eventually, that eventually remains the case. We still have many more to celebrate in this particular incident. Chamberlain.
Oh, yes, we can blow our cheeks out and say, thankfully, no lives lost. But it only gets to remind us all that air transport safety, I mean, in this particular case, because of this incident, we'll have to ramp it up a lot more, because even the incident involving the investigation going on concerning Max Air, you won't believe what some tell us, that some persons there are actually negotiating, trying to intervene on behalf of certain persons, asking them to just cut them some slack, let them go, give it a slap on the wrist, and you cannot believe it. But we get to see this. Enforcing standards and rules is for the benefit of everybody.
That is why I keep saying,
those agencies there, whatever challenges they have, they cannot meet up.
This is why I keep saying we need to enforce. People need to know we're sovereigns, and by ensuring that we start holding our governance to account, we do not wait, because the governors will not do what they're supposed to do. They're not following the rule of law. We, the citizens, must ensure, using our powers of sovereignty, to compel them to comply with the rule of law, because they are answerable to us as sovereigns. So let's carry on.
They need to speak up, because we need to give a lot more premium to human lives. And this particular case, look, there's a litany of challenges in that aviation industry. Many ask, can we really say we have an aviation industry in the true sense of the word, given what we go through on a regular basis? I'll leave you to mull on that one. Well, today could be a significant day.
So there you go. On the Oba Akran crash, nobody died. They're injured. They're in hospital, in the military hospital. Again, they should be in a civilian hospital. And we need to, there's a lot of stuff that there has to be a thorough investigation of what happened, and so that this doesn't happen again. Again, our active participation and governance is important. We need to be, the people in those areas need to really be calling everybody from your local government chairman, state assembly members, House of Reps, senators, to come and look at this and answer questions, and make sure that the laws of in this state of the state is effective in ensuring that it maximizes safety and security of the people. But anyway, yeah. Thankfully, nobody died. You're watching Season A, the platform where we speak to the power. We'll come back with more updates on other issues as well. But this is nobody died, thankfully, from the Oba Akran incident. All right, we will stop there. Please, before we go, we urge you to go ahead and subscribe to Season A, the platform where we speak to the power. So what do you need to do? Subscribe, hit the notification button, and of course, give us a thumbs up. So, to help us with more people, please help us subscribe, hit the notification button, and of course give us a thumbs up. Help us with more people. You are of course watching Season A, the platform where we speak truth to power, and of course don't forget, keep it locked on. Thank you, and bye for now.